5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Mission to Africa. After a visit to the British International Rescue Aid Lady Penelope, Jeff Tracy prepares to board a Fireflash airliner at London Airport. I wish you'd let me fly you back to your island, Jeff.
Thanks, buddy, but it's better this way. Too many private flights to base could arouse interest, and we don't want our secrecy cover broken.
World
Airlines regret that Fireflash Flight 739 to Tokyo and points east will be delayed by 30 minutes.
I've heard about this. Dr. Adams, the heart specialist, has been rushed to Madagascar on an emergency.
Oh,
As the doctor boards his private aircraft.
Oh yes, buddy. I remember. An African general, then Mumbo, has been given 3 days to live.
That's right. Dr. Adams is the only person in the world who could save him. The jet screams into the air.
Are the canisters secure, Peter?
Yes, Doctor. They'll be fine.
Won't move an inch. Good. They contain Rexsta Seven, the only medical compound that could save General Mumbo.
Supposed to stimulate life, isn't it? Gets the old ticker going better than new. The high-powered aircraft zooms through the clouds.
Let's hope we get there in time. Should do, Dr. Adams.
I'm taking a direct course over Africa, Kenya territory. I know the area like the back of my hand. 2 hours later, the animals on the game reserve are disturbed by the screams of atomic engines.
Then, trouble.
Left reactor is blown. I'll have to shut off power. Radiation hazard.
Can we continue?
I'm not sure. Better radio our position just in case. The precautionary call is picked up by computers in the International Rescue Space Station, Thunderbird 5. Amber alert! Blue medic to all stations. Minor fault reactor. Proceed with flight plan. Please track my position. John Tracy acts. Thunderbird 5 to base. Amber. Alert received. Call sign indicates aircraft contain imported medical man. Hello, John. Scott here. Dad's on his way back from London. What's the trouble? Reactors out, Scott. No call for help yet. Probably be able to make it out okay on one power unit. Keep us informed, John. John continues to monitor from space. The other unit, it's misfiring. It's no good. I've got to shut down both. All stations. Emergency land. Crash landing imminent. Position 2, 9, 30. John Tracy reports. The aircraft's crashed, Scott. Transmission's been cut. I don't suggest international rescue participation. Most tracking stations on Earth must have picked up the crash position. FAB, John. I hope they're okay. Dr. Adams and the pilot shake their dazed heads. We're lucky to be alive, Doc.
Yes, Peters. Let's get out of this mess.
Slowly, they extract themselves from the twisted wreckage. The compound, the canisters, they've been damaged. Look over there, Doc. Muscle. The nomadic tribesmen have been rallied there by their lookout. We need help. You will take us to the nearest settlement. Must get transport quickly. They seem to be interested in your bag, Doc.
Doctor, we'll take them to the raw.
Are they going to help us? By their expression, I won't say that's what they have in mind. Move! You will come now, or we'll kill you. Unless leading heart specialist Dr. Adams can reach General Nabombo in 3 days, the African statesman will die. With a vital drug on board, Dr. Adams flies on the Mercy mission, where his aircraft crashes, and he and his pilot are captured by Masai warriors. Within an hour, what little tracks have been left by the men are blown away by a strong wind. And that same wind swirls around the crashed jet, whipping up the drug that was intended to save a life. The compound Rexsta 7 is designed to simulate life. The wind carries it to the grasses of the Kenyan plains, the waterholes, and leaves the trees. A herd of elephants comes to a waterhole to drink. And in answer to the pilot's mayday call for help, 2 rescue helicopters land by the stricken aircraft. Rescue leader to base. Dr. Adams and pilot not found. No tracks. Will contact game warden for assistance. Rescue helper will scan area. The radio message is picked up by Thunderbird 5's sophisticated equipment. Thunderbird 5 to base. Dr. Adams has mysteriously disappeared. Scott Tracy receives John's call. Father's arrived back from Britain, John. He's in Thunderbird. Father's back from Britain, John. He's in Thunderbird 1 tower. I'll connect you. Thanks, Scott.
I get the picture, John. Keep monitoring those calls from Kenya. It shouldn't be too difficult for normal methods of search to find Dr. Adams. I doubt if international rescue will be needed.
Are you ready to continue the Thunderbird 1's check, Tintin? Ready, Brains. If we are called the craft must be in perfect order. But with each passing hour, as the sketchy trail gets colder, chances of finding the white men are fewer. In the witch doctor's hut, the tribe's elder answers some of Dr. Adams' questions. I demand to know why we've been brought here. You, Doctor, you save, you, yep, immune. They are led to a compound. I get it. This is one of the tribe's sacred symbols. It's an albino rhinoceros. Very rare indeed.
That may be, but I'm a brain specialist, not a vet.
You save, yep, immune.
You save, you have immune, or you'll not leave.
Evening falls over the Kenyan plains and at the water hole, one elephant brushes against another. Instantly, the huge beasts are locked in combat. In the morning, Jim Spencer, the game warden, discovers the lifeless body of the loser. Never seen anything like it. These plains are littered with dead canisters, and I've seen 100 fights this morning. Jim has spent the night trying to locate Dr. Adams. He has no luck. There's something more of it, something that stirred these animals into a frenzy, something unnatural. Spencer reports to the Kenyan Rescue Control Center. There's no sign of Dr. Adams. There's no sign of Dr. Adams or his pilot. And the whole area is a death trap with the animals in this mood.
Funny that, Jim. The search had just reported the same message. No tracks, but just fighting beasts.
John Tracy relays the suburb messages. Yes, Dad. If Dr. Adams and Pilot Peter are in the open, they could be in real danger.
Okay, John, get international rescue,
Take a hand in this. Yes, Father. General Nabumbo's only got 2 days left. Crossing to the wall's lamps, Scott prepares to board Thunderbird 1.
Off you go, Scott. You'll have to assess the situation before Virgil and Thunderbird 2 can follow.
Soon the fantastic shape of Thunderbird 1 is soaring about from the underground launch pad. But time is passing, and General Bobo's life is slipping surely away. On his way to save the life of an African statesman, heart specialist Dr. Adams escapes with his pilot when their plane crashes. Aboard The aircraft is a new compound designed to stimulate life. This has blown across the Kenyan plains with disastrous effects to the country's wildlife. International rescue has taken a hand, and Thunderbird 1 heads for the area. Thunderbird 1 to Game Warden Spencer will rendezvous with you at the crashed aircraft. Where, Thunderbird 1? Jim Spencer has been helping the search for Dr. Adams. He leaves his station. There's less than 2 days to go. If we don't find out Adams by then, General Namumbo will die. The game warden has 10 minutes to wait before Scott arrives. Together, the two men examine the wreckage. Dr. Adams and his pilots undoubtedly escaped from the crash, but they would have stayed here and waited to be picked up. Yes, but for some reason they were forced to leave the area, and any tracks they've left have been blown away. You mean they may had to clear out because of the enraged animals? Could be, but it's unlikely any animal caught up with them. We would have found their remains. So they were spirited away, eh? Well, you may believe in fairy tales, but not international rescue. At that moment, Spencer's truck radios a sound. It's the station lab. I took a dead buffalo carcass in for examination. It's obvious Dr. Adams' compound has caused the animals to run riot. Okay, Jim, I'll scan the entire area. Those two guys must be around somewhere. Scott returns to the nose cone and soon Thunderbird on his speed over the plains. In the Masai camp, Peters, Dr. Adams' pilot, is restless. We've got to get out of here. Dr. Adams is near Madagascar. A heavy stone is raised and... Oh! Sorry about this, pal, but probably... You probably don't intend to harm us, but you're holding things up. Cautiously, Peters crosses the doctor's hut. I'll never get past those two warriors. I better clear out to get help. Unseen, Adams escapes from the camp. It's 20 miles to the nearest settlement. I've got to make it. Peters tries quickly as the sun beats. The lion's spine shooting roar warns Peter. Ah! The shock of the attack forces Peter to draw on reserves of strength. That's 1 mile away. That's 1 mile. Wait, I'll never get there in time. Scott fires all motors. Expertly positioning his craft, Scott diverts the lion's attention. The noise of Thunderbird 1 and the roar of his engines do the rest. Soon, Scott is beside Peters. I think you'll be okay. These wounds are superficial. Scott works with the first aid kit for an hour. Thanks, I feel better now, but you've got to get Doc Adams out of that Masai camp. Masai? What he's doing with them? They've got a sacred rhino. It's sick, near to dying. They think Adams can cure it, but it's impossible. The Masai are pretty well civilized, but when it comes to sacred symbols, they revert back to their ancient codes. This could be tricky. Dr. Adams, a heart specialist, is captured by Masai tribesmen after his plane crashes in Kenya. International Rescue sends Thunderbird 1 to the area, and Scott manages to save the doctor's pilot from attack by a lion. You say the Masai want the doc to cure a dying sacred rhino? Yes. Look out! Behind you! Scott's machine pistol with rapid fire magazine fitted destroys the black mamba. With all these animals gone crazy, it's not safe around here. I'll radio the game warden to get you to hospital. In Thunderbird 1, Scott Tracy warns Spencer, then calls base. That's the picture, Dad. I don't reckon the Masai will be too happy about partying with the doc, but I'll have to find their camp and check it out. At his island home, Jeff Tracy nods seriously.
FAB, Scott. We'll be waiting for your next report. Time is at the premium now. That African statement Dr. Adams was going to tend has 36 hours to live.
The game warden arrives and Scott takes off. Dr. Adams has just got to be rescued. He's the only man who could save General Namubo. It's not going to be easy. The Masai will fight to hold the duck. Following the tracks left by Peters when he fled the Masai camp, Thunderbird 1 flies over the plains. Then Scott reaches his destination. Better not take Thunderbird 1 in too close. Don't want to alarm those warriors. Scott chooses a landing site half a mile from the camp. And then he approaches on foot. I could maybe blast my way into Doctor's... I could blast my way into Dr. Adams' tent, but that would mean killing those guards first. I would stir up the Masai nation if I did that. There's got to be another way. Whilst Scott is searching his way for a solution, "Get out of here! I'll be the one who needs to be rescued." Reaching the safety of Thunderbird 1, Scott radios base. Somehow, Dad, we've gotta get Dr. Adams clear without harming the Masai.
I agree, Scott.
To as much as scratch one of those tribes
Men would be against every principle international rescue stands for.
Keep your distance, Scott. Leave this to Brains to figure out. I think he's got some answers.
Yes, as I see it, the Masai's sacred rhino is dying. We have to replace her without the tribesmen realizing. I see. That's why they'll think the animal has been cured and the doctor will be released.
Brains draws up a plan of action and work is begun.
By modifying the existing equipment, we can produce the
Because we want in time.
I see, Brains. I'm glad you're so confident.
He's not, Mr. Tracy. In fact, to complete the job and also make a cage in time is almost an impossibility.
Meanwhile, in Kenya, night has fallen.
We'll be around 8 a.m. your time, Scott.
That will give us at least a day to change the rhino and get Dr. Adams to Madagascar.
Yes, but you have to find an exact replica of the Masai animal.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Where do I find another albino rhino? Spencer was telling me he's only heard of another one, but he's never seen it.
You better contact Spencer. That creature's gotta be found by 8 o'clock. Get moving, boy. And remember, those plains are covered with beasts who are abnormally wild.
Boy, is this a problem. We seem to be getting deeper into trouble every way we turn.
Scott is not aware of further danger as a herd of buffalo decide to use the supports of Thunderbird 1 as back scratchers.
Hey, this ship's rocking. What's going on?
The animals press closer.
Suddenly, it's going over. If Thunderbird 1 finishes up on its side, I'll never be able to take off.
To secure their sacred rhinoceros, the Masai have captured Dr. Adams, a heart specialist. The doctor was on his way to Madagascar to try and save African statesman General Manombo, who will die within 29 hours. Thunderbird 1 goes to start rescue operations, but the Kenya beasts are unusually wild, having been affected by one of Dr. Adams' drugs.
I've got 2 seconds to get out of this mess.
Thunderbird 1's vertical motors blast off.
Man, but it sure was close.
With the help of Game Warden Jim Spencer, Scott has to find an albino rhinoceros.
I've made some inquiries, Mr. Tracy. There's an albino identical to the Masai one some 100 miles east of you. Give me the position. I'll meet you there at dawn.
Meanwhile, at the International Rescue Base.
Okay, Brains. You've done a swell job on the emergency machinery. Guess you better get aboard Thunderbird 2.
Yes, Mr. Tracy. I want to work out an antidote to that compound which is causing the animals to be so ferocious.
Brains is soon in Thunderbird 2's laboratory, and Virgil takes the huge aircraft onto the runway.
I'm on my way now.
I'll be with Scott by 8 a.m. his time. In the laboratory, we're full bar brains. How's the tranquilizer for those animals coming?
I'll have to make Dr. Adams' compound first, Virgil. The British medical people were able to supply me with the formula.
Dawn is 2 hours old in Kenya. I've given Virgil my position. I've given Virgil my position. Here comes Jim. Spencer.
The rhino we want is moving with a herd. They're about 3 miles off.
Okay, Jim, I'll track them from the air. You listen for my calls. With his detectives at work, Thunderbird 1 seeks its quarry. There it is. There it is. Boy, what a specimen. Before Jim Spencer reaches the scene, Thunderbird 1 arrives, having followed Scott's directions. I'll go straight into action. The sooner we get Dr. Adams to Madagascar, the better. Okay, Virgil. We'll be with you in 30 seconds. But one of the herd charges. The enraged animal connects. They smashed the instruments. Stop them, Scott. I'll never get this ship up in time. FAB, I'm on my way. Thunderbird 1 swoops down. As Scott forces the angry beast clear, Thunderbird 2 rises its pod. One of the machines that International Rescue has hurriedly converted rumbles out of the pod. Scott, you'll have to operate the other grab machine. We didn't have time to include the remote control system. FAB. I'm gonna try and get him on my own, Scott. The albino rhino is relatively docile, but Dr. Adams' stimulant compound has had its effect. That's the way, my beauty, straight and true. Aboard the second machine, Scott sees the situation. Virgil, you'll need to get to close those grabs at exactly the right moment. Impact! But Virgil tastes the bitter fruits of failure. While flying over Africa to save the life of General Nabobo, Dr. Adams is kidnapped by Masai tribesmen when his plane crashes. He is ordered to cure their sacred albino rhino. To save the doctor, International Rescue attempts to catch a second rhino to act as a replacement. Enraged by a special stimulant which has drifted across the plains from Dr. Adams' crashed aircraft, 2 animals charge. Virgil's machine topples over. Pained to an even wilder state, the great beast leaped forward again. In the second machine, Scott shouts into the radio, Virgil, get clear, you'll be killed. Bruised and shaken, Virgil tries desperately to clamber from his wrecked vehicle. More of the herd break clear and they lower their great heads. With motors screaming to full pitch, Scott's machine hurtles across the scorched grass. Virgil leaps. Hang on, Virgil. I'm going after that albino again. Okay, Scott, but make sure you grab him straight. If he twists, he's free. Slowing the machine, Scott positions himself for the grab. He's seen us. He knows what's coming. Look, he's charging. With speeds increasing, the International Rescue Machine and the huge beast close. Contact! You got him! You did it, Scott! Yeah, let's get that remote-controlled cage out of the part. Scott operates a control on one of the grab machine's panels, then unable to move, the rhino is transported across the plains. The great arms rise high, then release the captured animal. Before the rest of the herd has a chance to renew hostilities, the machines return to the pod. As soon as I get back to Thunderbird 1, Virgil, I'll lead the way to the Masai camp. Within minutes, the two fantastic craft are airborne. Thunderbird 1 to Thunderbird 2. Brains has completed the tranquilizing. Compound. Great. Get him to fix it. Get him to fix that rhino into the cage. He's gotta be normal when we get him to the Masai. See. Thunderbird 1 built up full power. Thunderbird 1 to Game Warden. Spencer, we've captured the albino rhino. Jim, you should have been there. Sorry, Scott. Sorry, Scott. I can't travel at the same speed as your machines. I'll meet you at the camp. But they've gone. The Masai have left. Thunderbird 2 arrives. Then Jim Spencer. They've taken the sick rhino with them. And Dr. Adams too. What chances of finding them? Not good. The ground around here is very rocky, and we've already known how Masai can cover their tracks. We've got to find them. If that sacred animal dies, there's no telling what they'll do to Dr. Adams. And with each passing second, General Namobo, the statesman Dr. Adams was flying to save, gets closer to death. Dr. Adams, on his way to Madagascar to save an African statesman, is captured by Masai tribesmen who, when his plane crashed, the Masai want the doctor to cure their dying albino rhinoceros, which they consider sacred, but the animal is beyond hope. International rescue secure a substitute animal, but in the meantime, the Masai have disappeared without a trace. Scott radios to Thunderbird. Scott, Tracy and Thunderbird 1 radios to his brother Virgil. Now trace, Virgil, but we'll scour the hills until we find the Masai. Yes, but time's running short. General, the mobile has less than 7 hours to live. In The Thunderbird 2 laboratory, Brains interrupts.
I think I've worked out a favorable method of switching the two rhinos without the Masai becoming suspicious.
I see, Brains. So they'll think the Masai, the tribesmen will think their sacred beast has been cured.
Yes, they're now at least on Adams. Now, this is what you have to do, Virgil.
Brains explains the Masai have sacred symbols, one of them, of course, which is rain. Thunderbird 2 alters course and Scott continues the search for the tribesmen.
Thunderbird 1 to Thunderbird 2, I found them. Map reference 7, area 19. Hurry, Virgil!
At that moment, International Rescue's great transport aircraft has landed by a waterhole. FAB, Scott. Nearly completed water intake. Pumps off, Brains. Within 30 minutes, Thunderbird 2 arrives near the Masai camp. Beyond the side of the tribesmen, it rises above the pod. Cage vehicle disengaged, Scott.
FAB, Virgil, taking
remote control systems for Thunderbird 1 now. Inside the machine is the tranquilized albino rhino captured by Scott. He guides the vehicle close to the camp. Thunderbird 2 lifts off. The great aircraft soars into the sky and then... How'd it look, Brains?
Very good, Virgil. The fuel injection units are exact exit for the water we took aboard.
The liquid changed to torrent by the craft's sips stream falls into the dry canyon plain. An alert Masai warrior sees the water. Rain! Rain! The conjure has come to visit the Masai. The camp comes wild with excitement. Come, we must give thanks for the rain. Scott, meanwhile, has landed and by remote control steers the cage vehicle into the camp.
Brains' plans worked. Now to switch the rhinos.
The Masai beast Scott discovers is dead. He releases the magnificent rhinoceros captured earlier that day and winches the carcass of the dead animal into the cage vehicle. There you are, my beauty, safe and sound. Now to find Dr. Adams. The doctor, finding no guards on his hut, reaches Scott first. Glad to know you, Doc. Boy, you've caused some trouble, but guess it's worked out okay. For you and me, Mr. Tracy, and the Masai, but not for General Manumbo. It's impossible to reach him in time. Scott and Dr. Adams head for Thunderbird 1, taking all the trace of the dead rhinoceros with them. We'll get you to Madagascar, Doctor. First, I've got to contact my brother. Thunderbird 1 to Thunderbird 2. I've got to rush to England to get more Dr. Adams' compound. General Manumbo will need after the operation. FAB, Scott. I'll pick up the doctor and take care of the cage vehicle. We'll bury the rhino. Thunderbird 1 blasts off and Scott and soon Virgil is landing in the heavy-duty vehicle. I'm worried about the animals. They're still abnormally wild.
I've manufactured
antidote which will calm them. With the dead rhinoceros aboard, Thunderbird 2 delivers the doctor to Madagascar. The hard operation begins. As Thunderbird 1 motors at full power flashes away from England to the hospital, There, Dr. Adams greets Scott with hopeful news.
The operation was successful, Mr. Tracy. This compound should ensure complete recovery, but it will be 3 hours before we're certain.
Virgil has begun the final stage of international rescue action in Kenya, spraying the planes with brains as antidote. An hour later, Jim Spencer, the game warden, makes his first reports.
It's working, Virgil. The animal's settling down. You've done a great job.
And as Scott flies over the Masai camp, Scott here, Virgil. The tribesmen look happy enough. Guess they figured Dr. Adams cured their rhino. As the Thunderbird machines rendezvous.
Doc Adams calling Thunderbird 1. General Manombo is recovering. My thanks go out to all of you.
Glad things worked out, Doc. So long.
International rescue returning to base. Mission successful. See you there, Scott.
The end.